Jose Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines and the pride of the Malayan race, was born on June 19, 1861, in the town of Calamba, Laguna. He was the seventh child in a family of 11 children. Both his parents were educated and belonged to the distinguished families. His father, Don Francisco Mercado Rizal, an industrious farmer whom Rizal called a model of fathers, come from Binyan, Laguna, while his mother, Doña Teodora Realonda, a highly refined and proficient woman, whom Rizal called a loving and sensible mother, was born in Misic, Santa Cruz, Manila. At the age of 3, he learned the alphabet from his mother, and at the age of 5, while learning to read and write, he already showed inclination to be an artist. He astounded his family and relatives by his pencil drawings and sketches and by his clay modelings. At the age of 8, he wrote a Tagalog poem titled Sa Aking Mga Kababata, which the theme revolves on a love of one's language. In 1877, at the age of 16, he obtained his Bachelor Arts degree with excellent grades from Ateneo Municipal. In the same year, he enrolled in philosophy and letters at the University of Santo Tomas, while at the same time took courses leading to the degree of Surveyor and Expert Assessor at the Ateneo. He finished the latter course on March 21, 1877, and passed the Surveyor's exam on May 21, 1878. But because he was still 16, he was not granted license to practice his profession until December 30, 1881. In 1878, he enrolled in medicine at the University of Santo Tomas but had to stop in his studies when he felt that the Filipino students were being discriminated by their Dominican tutors. On May 3, 1882, he sailed from Spain where he continued his studies at the Universidad Central de Madrid. On June 21, 1884, at 23, he has conferred the degree of licentiate in medicine, and on June 19, 1885, at 24, he finished his course in philosophy and letters with excellent grades. Having traveled extensively in Europe, America, Asia, he mastered 24 languages. This includes Arabic, Catalan, Chinese, English, French, German, Greek, Hebrew, Italian, Japanese, Latin, Malayan, Portuguese, Russian, Sanskrit, Spanish, Tagalog, and other native dialects. A versatile genius, he was an architect, artist, businessman, cartoonist, educator, economist, ethologist, scientific farmer, historian, inventor, journalist, linguist, musician, mythologist, nationalist, naturalist, novelist, ophthalmic surgeon, poet, propagandist, psychologist, scientist, sculptor, sociologist, and theologian. He was an expert swordsman and a good shot. In the hope of securing and social reform for his countrymen and at the same time educate his countrymen, Rizal, the greatest apostle of Filipino nationalism, published several works in highly nationalistic and revolutionary tendencies while in Europe. His daring book No Limit Hungry, a satirical novel exposing the arrogance and despotism of the Spanish clergy, was published in Berlin in March 1887. In 1890, he reprinted Morga's Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas in Paris, with his annotations to prove that the Filipinos had civilization worthy to be proud of even long before the Spaniards set foot in the Philippine soil. In September 1891, his second novel, El Filibusterismo, a sequel to No Limit Hungry, had more revolutionary and tragic than the latter, was printed in Ghent. Because of his fearless exposures of injustices committed by the civil and clerical officials, Rizal provoked the animosity of those in power. This led himself, for his relatives and countrymen into trouble with the Spanish officials of the country. As a consequence, he and those who had contacts with him were shadowed. The authorities were not only finding faults, but even fabricating charges to pin him down. Thus, he was imprisoned in Fort Santiago from July 6, 1892 to July 15, 1892, on charge that anti-friar pamphlets were found in the luggage of his sister Lucia, who arrived with him from Hong Kong. While a political exile in Dapitan, he engaged in agriculture, fishing, and business. He maintained and operated a hospital. He conducted classes and taught pupils his English and Spanish languages, arts, sciences, vocational courses, including agriculture, surveying, sculpturing, and painting, as well as the art of self-defense. He did some researches, collecting specimens, and entered into corresponding with renowned men of letters and sciences abroad, and with the help of his students, he constructed a water dam and a relief map of Mindanao that were both considered remarkable engineering feats. His, feats. His sincerity and friendliness won him the trust and confidence of even those assigned to guard him. His good manners and warm personality were found irresistible by women of all races with whom he had personal contacts. His intelligence and humility gained for him the respect and admiration of a prominent men of other nations, while his undaunted courage and determination to uplift the welfare of his people were feared by his enemies. When the Philippine Revolution started on August 26, 1896, his enemy has lost no time in pressing him down. They were able to enlist witnesses that linked him with the revolt of these were never allowed to be controlled by him. Thus, from November 3, 1896 to the date of his execution, he was again committed to Fort Santiago and his prison cell. He wrote an untitled poem now known as Ultimo Adios, which is considered a masterpiece and a living document expressing not only the hero's great love of the country, but also that all of the Filipinos. After a mock trial, he was convicted of rebellion, sedition, and a forming of illegal associations. In a cold morning of December 30, 1896, Rizal, a man whose 235 of his life had been packed with varied activities which prove that the Filipinos has capacity to equal if not excel even those who treat him as a slave, was shot in Bagumbayan.